In this video, we will see a lesser known but nonetheless easy and crucial way to discern a Christian or saint from a false teacher. We will read parables about a creditor and a debtor, one from Boyd K. Packer and one from Jesus found in Matthew chapter 18, which explain how Jesus atones for our sins and how his atonement is applied to us. On the LDS Church's website, under Gospel Principles, you can find a chapter on the atonement. And to learn the LDS Church's position on the atonement, you can read a parable from President Boyd K. Packer. Now, Boyd K. Packer was one of the 12 Mormon apostles for almost half a century, and is held in high regard as a master teacher, teaching even the most complex topics with clarity. And thanks to this clarity, we can easily discern whether a teaching or teacher is true or false. In Packer's parable, he explains if we do our part, then we have the possibility of attaining Christ's atonement. In his parable, when it comes time for the debtor to pay his debt in full, he cannot, and he begs for mercy. The creditor says, "If I show mercy to you, it will leave me unpaid. It is justice I demand." Then a friend of the debtor, who Packer intends to be Jesus, comes along and says he will pay the debt so that he can keep his possessions and not go to prison, on the condition that the debtor signs a new contract to eventually pay off the debt to his friend. The chapter concludes that because of him, if we will keep his terms and conditions, we will not be consigned to prison. Thus, with clarity, Boyd K. Packer teaches that Jesus' atonement does not sacrificially pay our debt, but loans us a second chance to pay the debt ourselves. And how is this possible? According to the Book of Mormon Resource Manuals, Doctrine and Covenants, Word of Wisdom, and Law of Tithing, it is possible to save yourself and pay the debt if you expend your own best and total effort. Deny yourself of all ungodliness, tithe correctly, lead a chaste, clean, pure, and scrupulously honest life, abstain from tea, coffee, and meat unless in winter or famine, according to Brigham Young, Heber J. Grant, John Henry Smith, Lorenzo Snow, and Wilford Woodruff, and comply with any other commandments. Let's compare this now to Matthew 18. Jesus says the kingdom of heaven is like a king who ordered his worker to pay back his debt completely. But upon the worker humbling himself before the king, acknowledging his debt and throwing himself before the king that perhaps he would encounter mercy, the king did not say that he would simply revise the terms and conditions for repayment. Rather, the king had compassion and released the worker and forgave the debt completely, thereby taking the debt upon himself, as Jesus did on the cross. This is the atonement, God adopting us, not a contract, but a conciliation. God loved us first, while we were still sinners, before we'd done anything good, yet he prepares a good work before us, that we would walk in his way. To conclude, we also have the testimony of Luke in chapter 7, where an immoral woman falls before Jesus. Her tears fall to his feet, and she pours over them a jar of perfume and dries them with her hair, for she had much sin. But she had faith that Jesus could forgive it all, and this Jesus did. Thus she was filled with love and freed from sin. In verse 50, Jesus says, "Your faith has saved you. Go in peace."